I guess, maybe. All right, I'm the only one here, but just in case somebody wants to go back and watch the beginning of it on video on demand, my name is Eric. This is Mill7 Gaming, and we're playing Battletech on Twitch. And today we are going to be playing Battletech Extended 3025, which is a more, we'll call it lore-friendly mod collection than what we were playing, the Advanced Battletech 3062, and obviously a different year, so different timeline, 3025 versus the 62, which is going to change a few things as well. This is going to do a better job, hopefully, of keeping kind of canon mechs for various factions within the canon. So if you fight Kurita, you're more likely to see Kuritan mechs, whereas everything else was just kind of a crapshoot that was based on lance roll, but not actual lore friendly. So this is going to be more canon, more lore friendly, and obviously the early time period. It has a few different mods, and we'll go ahead and I'm sure we'll go back over this again as people show up. But let's take a look at display. Hopefully that shows us the whole screen there, although that's way off. Or am I way off on everything? Where was I on game? How about chatting? No, it looks okay there. It's just the display screen that's off. Huh. I wonder why. I think it's probably off everywhere. I'm going to do this. Oh, wrong way. Go another tight touch. There we go. Let's see, does it still look good on, say, chatting? Still looks fine there. Still looks fine on game? Yeah. Okay. All right, back to this. So if we take a look here, you'll see we've got, we're going to play the Commander's Edition. So we are going to have a full Intersphere map, Galaxy at War, Mech Quirks, Pilot Quirks, Panic Quirks, some Argo upgrade improvements. We'll say changes. We don't know if they're improvements yet. Difficulty supposedly moved away from the start more to the end game. Similar difficulty to Extended 3025, which we didn't play. I'm assuming that's the standard edition that they're going to talk about with a higher skill ceiling. Difficulty levels including simulation, which is hard, plus more hardcore simulation aspects challenge. Rebalanced weapon skills and variants. So things to know. Yeah, we can look at different tags on the map. Difficulty, hard reduces resolve generation, increases in late game steps and makes precision strike less effective. Elite enemy pilots are still random, but much more biased to be appropriate for the mech and the lance roll in hard mode. Simulation mode includes extra mods, drop costs, CBT behaviors that affect the overheat seed into a more nuanced system, and the more is less that scales XP generation back on pilots as they become more experienced. Harsher versions of pilot fatigue and drop salvage. Interesting. I was wondering what it changed because it doesn't actually give you any kind of tooltips that help you within the game itself. So pilots are going to suffer panic states. We're used to that. We're seeing that in other things. Melee to hit values are lower, countered by Mech Quirks that actually have quirks to be that. Salvage is based on the amount of the mech left rather than flat max pieces if the pilot is incapacitated. And 2 for a legged mech. I haven't been seeing that anyway. I'm not sure that that's how it works, to be honest. I mean, if we incapacitate the pilot, but we've destroyed both things, we weren't getting 3 pieces anyway. So, and I don't think I was getting in vanilla. So we'll see. Pilots do get pilot quirks. Commander provides 2 resolve. If you also have an officer, that does the same thing. Pilot fatigue occurs. We're going to run a lot of pilots. Skills, gunnery and piloting provided 2% bonus to hit rather than 2.5. So shooting's not going to be as easy, at least late game. Early on, it's still going to suck. Minimum range bonuses reduce the negative from firing, but it doesn't reduce the minimum range. Okay, so we're not going to be able to fire a PPC right next to somebody. So we can get up close and take advantage of, say, LRM or PPC minimum range. Rather than lowering the range, it lowers the negative. I'm not sure that makes a huge difference. We'll see how that works. I'm not sure what exactly is going to do with that. Tier 2 piloting is now evasive expert. A chance to keep evasion when fired upon. The amount of pips that this will start to kick in is higher the faster the mech is. Using jump jets increases your kept minimum by 1. Tier 2 tactics provides a bonus of the previous ace pilot, allowing the pilot to move after. So there's some changes there. He's done a lot with autocannons. He keeps talking about making them to make them the same as their real world counterparts. We don't have real world counterparts of Battletech autocannons. Okay, we have cannons, if he wants to talk about tanks or something, but we don't have any sort of real benchmark for what constitutes what to what. And so I think that's kind of dumb, but whatever. He's balanced them the way he's balanced them. I'm not worried about trying to tie what we have in the real world into what's the game. It's a game. Argo upgrades. Training pods can provide the ability to retrain a pilot one time ever per pilot. Okay, so we can retrain pilots. That's pretty cool. Provides a new bay. Each mech bay provides a new bay that repairs at the same time. Okay, so that's, I think Rogue Tech did that the same way. So if we have 3 mech bays, we can work on 3 mechs at once. Rather than just more tech points to work on the mech we have slightly faster. Machine shop to combine variants of the same chassis that have the same engine and internals type. Oh, okay, so we can combine mech pieces together, but only if we have the machine shop, it looks like. Interesting. Mechs, faction houses that are more distinct due to the lower friendly lance composition. Light and medium phase, they say should last longer. Similar to vanilla balance. And yeah, I think that's the big things. Now, it says somewhere in here that we can, that your random mechs based on, here, let me just show you. So if we go here, we've got this mod called Random Start by Difficulty. And the idea is that based on your difficulty in the game, it's going to change what mechs you start with. Now, it looks at 2 different things. According to the, does it say it here in the JSON? Here, let me drag the JSON over. This is the JSON here. Allows unique starting lances and faction bonuses through the difficulty menu. So if we go to his GitHub and we look here, we see that it's useful for mods, whatever. So it looks at 2 different difficulty constants, each with a different behavior. And the first one is right here, like where you start. So career mod, starting systems, Ukraine. So this is going to determine kind of this initial item collection group here. The mechs that we can use based on where you are. So if you start in Kurita space, that random collection is going to be Kuritan mechs. And then it's going to look at faction reputation, which in theory is going to change the level of mechs you get out of that. So if you have good faction with them, then you will, of course, get better mechs from them or have a better starting selection, random selection to get. However, this mod does not build in any custom faction starting. So you are going to start with -10 to all the big houses, Kurita, Draconis Combine, Steiner, all that sort of stuff. -5 for the Torrent and Cardit, -5 to the Magistry of Canopus, and -15 to Pirate, period. It doesn't matter who you pick. It doesn't matter where you start. So this essentially isn't really something we can change or affect. So we're looking essentially at -10s across the board here, -5 for Concordat and Canopus. So I don't think any of those things are going to change us. We're all in the same category of indifferent, essentially. The bottom half of indifferent for factions. So this may be doing something, but we can't change it. So it is a straight constant. It's not something that we can do anything about. So I think that's that. I've looked at it, and you can see here at a log, I've been playing with it. It essentially takes mechs from a group of collections that are faction-based. and puts them together in a group, and it just picks its random mechs out of that. So in this case, we have a collection of Kurita Worst, Kurita Best, Kurita Support, Kurita 20s, and another Kurita 20s. Mech Kurita 20s, Mech Kurita 20s. Maybe it throws them in twice. So maybe we get one from each. We get one from the worst, one from the best, one from support, and 2 20s. I think that's what we get. Hard to tell. In my playthroughs, what we looked at was, if you don't choose random, we got a Spider 5K, a Jenner 7D, Panther 9R, Locust 3V, and a Wasp 1A. If we didn't pick random at all, that's what we got every single time. That was our base default lance. When we kicked on random, I got a collection of things. Where did I write them down is the question. I didn't write them down. We got more random stuff, but similar along those lines. We got Panthers, we got Spiders, we got Jenners, we got Stingers, and we got Wasps primarily. Generally speaking, we got 1 or 2 30s, 1 or 2 35s, and 2 20s. So my guess is a worst, a best, a support, and the 2 20s. We're getting one from each of those things, and that's fine. Where these lists are, I'm not actually sure. But since we have no viewers, let's go look for those things. Somewhere in here, he's going to have a list of these, I would think. The question is, where? So, Scorch, Salvage, Retrainer. I'm going to guess they're in his actual specific stuff here, because that makes the most sense to me. They had a lot of this stuff in extended, or whatever the other was. What do we know? We're extended 3025. In advanced 3062, we're in like a Lance collection type of deal, where it's Lance spawner. That's a debug tool. I'm looking for just the Lance spawner, essentially, because I have a feeling that that's what we're looking for. Yeah, it's school day for me, so 1 o'clock. We're trying to figure out, I'm actually going to run extended 3025 today, which is a much more lore-specific mod. So if you run against Kuritan mechs, they should have, or against a Kuritan lance, they should have Kuritan mechs. I'm trying to figure out how the random start mechs start, and if we can figure out where the lists are. If we check the log, which I've already closed, mods, random start. You can see when we start with Kurita, it pulls 1 mech from the Kurita Worst, 1 mech from the Kurita Best, 1 mech from Kurita Support, and then 2 mechs out of the Kurita 20. So I'm trying to figure out where those lists are, is essentially what I'm looking for at the moment. And I'm not 100% sure. Actually, to be honest, I'm probably pretty close to the average age of my students. I have a lot of students in 30s. Well, I'm a little older. I would say a lot of students in their 30s, late 20s, early 30s. Then with a collection of guys my age, and then usually a couple guys who are retired. And at the young end, maybe 3 or 4 out of 20 that are kind of traditional 18 to 22 college, students. Welding doesn't pull kind of your standard age. But yeah. So I'm trying to figure out where these are. Let's look in here. Chassis, hard points, item collections, maybe? Ammo parts. Mechs, common, rare. I don't want that. Ah, here they are. So we can go into Kuritan Best. So we're going to get one of these in theory. Ah, that's where they come from. So we're going to get a fire starter or a javelin or a Jenner as one of the best. And then don't save. we're going to get a worst. What do they consider the worst? Spider 5K, 5V, Assassin, Cicada, Clinton, Vulcan. Okay. And support. Urban Mechs and Panthers. Interesting. And then the 20s. Locust, Wasp, and Stinger. Okay. Now at least I know where those collections come from. Now, my thought, we haven't built the character yet, was, no, we don't have to be Kurita. My initial thought was we take Kurita and Merrick, because Merrick has the fewest number of built-in allies, so he gives you the most flexibility. And one of the people he doesn't hate, among others, is Kurita, and Kurita doesn't hate Merrick. I was thinking we take a Kurita pilot and we put them in Merrick's space initially. You know, they've left their area and that's where they start. And so we give them Merrick, but I'm open to whatever. You're the only one here. So if you have a strong preference as to a faction, that's fine. Now, we are going to have the full map on this. So we can be anybody and we can start anywhere within Inner Sphere space. As far as the major houses go, plus Canopus and whatever the other with the boar's head, whoever they are. Oh, anybody except Draconis. Well, I think we should think about having a couple factions to work with. So we can pick one and then we figure out who the other person is, so we can kind of do that as we go. Because of the way the enemies work, you can't be allied to somebody you can't be allied to two people if they're enemies, right? Once you're allied to one, you're permanently enemies to their enemies. Merrick is a good one, but Merrick gives us a lot of options as far as who they can go with. So pick who you want, and then we'll figure out what the other faction is once we get in game and we take a look. That would be my guess. You're okay with Kurita and Merrick? So Draconis Combine is okay. I tell you what, let's make Merrick, and then we can figure out who else we want after that. We've done Merrick here already, which is kind of why I didn't want to just go straight them. I was thinking Steiner or Kurita, but I figured there'd be more anti-Steiner backlash than anti-Kurita backlash, was kind of my thinking. But they're the two houses whose space we haven't been able to see in the game at this point. Does that make sense? Oh, wait, so Draconis Combine and Kurita, same place. Merrick is Free Worlds League. Lau is Capellan. Steiner is... What the hell is Steiner? Tell you what, let's just start as Merrick in Merrick space, and then we'll roll from there. Does that make sense? We'll figure out who else we want to be. Merrick gives us the most flexibility as far as people that they don't hate. So that's what I was thinking that. Of course, let's take a look, see what our mechs are going to be. I mean, we may as well, right? We're here. So our 20s are the Flea, the Locust, the Wasp, and the Stinger. I like Fleas. That's kind of cool, actually. I don't have a problem with that. Merrick best. Firestarter and Javelin. Okay. Not a huge change from what we're seeing. Support. Urban Mech, Assassin, Clint, Vulcan. Okay. Well, again, these are houses that are not terribly separate. So we're looking at a similar selection as what we had. Spider 5e and Cicada 2a. Okay. That's not terrible. So let's go ahead and go new. Now, he's also got some differences here. So we've got a normal, a hard, and a simulation setting. And according to him, if we can find it here, that does... So hard reduces resolve generation increases in late game steps and makes precision strikes less effective. Elite pilots are random, but are biased to be in the correct mech and lance that they should be in. So if it's, say, a Jaeger mech, it should probably have a sniper, right, rather than a melee type guy. Simulation mode includes more mods, but we also are going to pay drop costs. Behaviors are going to change based on the overheat system. We're going to get less XP as we go on. We obviously have the hard stuff set in. And we're going to have more pilot fatigue and less drop salvage. So what we could do is, I'm thinking we go, I think it sounds pretty cool. So I'm thinking we go simulation, but we do kind of leave this at 3, because if we're going to get less salvage anyway, that's going to be artificially make it harder to build mechs. I think we go ahead and leave the unequipped mechs on. We go ahead and turn that on. That gets us a score to a 0.8. And also, I think we turn lethality on. I think we had it on for our last one. I left mech destruction off, but lethality on. So I think we leave that there. This is going to be slowed down already due to this simulation thing. So I think we leave that on normal. We go ahead, we make ourselves Merrick. And it still gives us a 0.85 difficulty. I think I'm fine with that. Iron Man, everybody says this mod is super stable. So I think we go with Iron Man so we don't have to mess with saves and deleting stuff. Although this mod doesn't have the bug where we can't, every time you delete a load, it says there's no more loads and makes you back out and go back in. This one you can delete them all at once. So kind of like this is what I'm thinking. Gives us a difficulty of 0.85. This has pilot fatigue built in. So pilots are going to be fatigued for about a week at a time. So we're going to run a lot of pilots, and I just figure we name them all after you guys. That's kind of my thought. And we're going to rotate through. We're going to want at least 2 full lances, probably 10 pilots is what we're going to want. And the fact that lethality is on means we could lose those pilots and add more people in or take, as they go. So I think it adds a little bit of extra drama to the save is my thought. Let's go back to the game. I played this a tiny bit last night. I played maybe 3 missions total, and it plays a lot faster. I did go in and without any modifications. However, it does still have that stupid they reserve every single time. Clinton and Lord can't. No. Why is that? I don't know the lore of the Clint at all. How many do we have other options down there? No. Free world. Oh, well, that's a good reason not to have one. Three, two, that's pretty balanced. Wiggly. I'm gonna roll till I get a cool name I like. Actually, last night had I was meant to have one. I actually had somebody get Black Sheep last night, so obviously my trial run last night with this was Black Sheep Squadron. Truck. The Count. Yeah, if we go with the Count, which obviously, ties back to Dracula, then we could make a squad called the Revenants, which is also one of my favorite punk bands. Do we have a... Well, she looks pretty gothy. We could go there. We could go there. The dark lipstick. We'll go there. Kara Myers, the Count. I guess she'd be the Countess. Maybe they don't care about that in the future. Actually, they do. We've read enough Battletech lore. We know. Charlotte Linlin, Big Mom. I don't get the reference. Sorry. Anime is too big for me to know all of. And most of my anime is 20 years out of date. Oh, ready to get continue. Okay, shall we figure out what we got? Maybe we got lucky and got the Clint there. We did. We certainly did. AC5. Well, it's a good thing we don't have the 10. Jump jets and a medium laser. Fire starter. Jump jets, large laser, small laser, and flamer. Not super. We got a little bit of long range shot there. I actually like the cicada, even though it's on everybody's worst list. It might take us a little bit of work to figure out how we want to do it. Stinger, I like stingers too, actually. That's fine. Medium lasers, lots of jump jets, and a locust. The machine gun one, actually, that's reasonable. You know what I forgot to do, though? 20-year-old anime. Well, I guess I'm right at the edge of my experience there. I forgot to load my extra logos in. Yeah, I like cicadas. Give me just a second here. Let's back out of the game because it's going to have to reload. And I'm going to go ahead and copy my logos in really fast. Oops, no, I just want just that. And then we're going to carry that into mods. And then I got to restart the game really quick.